Diet and exercise advice from Maimonides. Now, if you're looking at my pudgy face, you know that just because we teach it doesn't mean we practice it, but I take this seriously, and I think what's amazing about this is that he was a doctor and a very important rabbi, lived 1135 to 1204, 1,000 years ago, and the advice he gives here is exactly the advice that people give today, basically, and it's amazing how much knowledge he had just from studying our holy books. Or I shouldn't say just, I mean, it's just fantastic. He says, and here's the interesting thing about why to stay healthy. Here's the key that he says at the beginning of chapter 4 in Hilchot Deot, in the book of Meda, of knowledge. He says, since by keeping the guf, the body, bari, healthy, vishalem, and full, midarkei Hashemhu, you follow the way of God. Because it's impossible to understand or know anything about God when you're ill. That's the main purpose, he says. It is a man's duty to remove yourself far, atzmo, mean devarim me'abdim, that hurt you, that are harmful to you, and you should, lahanhig, to cultivate life-affirming habits, health-preserving habits. So you should keep from whatever, if you're doing something that's harmful to the body, stop it, stay far from it, and preserve health-preserving habits. And here's one example he gives. Let's talk about food. He says, don't eat except when you're hungry. Do not gorge yourself. Leave the table before your appetite is fully appeased. In fact, he says you should eat 1/4 less food than completely gratify you. Then he goes on to say that, it's interesting, in the end, overeating is like a deadly poison to the body. Most illnesses which befall man arise from either bad food or from excessive eating of good food. So imagine that 1,000 years ago he understood that. Then he talked about exercise. He said strenuous exercise should be taken every day in the morning till the body begins to get warm. So that I do. Jump out of bed after davening and right to the gym. Get a good sweat. That's, he says, till the body gets warm. And then take a warm bath after exercise. My reward is the whirlpool, the health club. So he says you take a warm bath after you exercise. But anyway, you should exercise till you build up a good sweat. And then he goes at the bottom here in number 15, he says, as long as the person takes plenty of exercise, and it's in the Hebrew, mit abmiel v'yagea harbe, if you take plenty of exercise and you do not overeat, and you keep your bowel regulated, you'll contract no illnesses even if you eat bad food. Isn't that interesting? And then he says, anyone who sits around idle and takes no exercise will be subject to physical discomforts and failing strength even if you eat good food. So exercise is crucial. And then he says you should sleep 8 hours a day. So we have here some of the basic advice. I just read an interesting article in Newsweek, which was basically saying the most important word you can know in the medical profession is no. And the gist of the article was that how many studies and exams and tests we take that actually hurt us. We should learn to say no to some of those tests. And basically Maimonides is saying that you exercise right, you sleep right, you eat right, and you stay away from things that are harmful to you, and you'll be fine. Brilliant advice then, brilliant advice today. And this is from the most important rabbi in the medieval period, Moses ben Maimon.